Also ahead, minority takes on governments for failing to invest in dialysis centers across the country. We have these and other stories coming up in the next 30 minutes. Please stay. Thanks for staying. I am Evelyn Araba Edu. Remember, the bulletin is live on DSTV channel 361 and on GoTV channel 170. And across the world, we are streaming live on Facebook, YouTube, and on Twitter. We begin the bulletin this morning on a sad note, as an 85-year-old woman, Abnatre, has been butchered on suspicion of being a witch at Enyan Anukrom in the Ejumaku Enyan Nisiam district of the Central Region. Information gathered by GHToday News Yabujan revealed that the victim, who lives in Enyan Anukrom, was accused by another woman whose name was given as Ajua Adansa in that same community. The victim is said to have suffered constant accusations and blames for the death of her accuser's son for some years ago. Sources say the victim was attacked by her accuser on Wednesday, September 28, 2023, with a machete, but the latter was saved by some family members before it became deadly. Some family members of the victim who spoke to GHToday News revealed that Ajua Adisa, prior to her action, constantly threatened to kill the victim and finally put her words in action on that fateful day. They want the police to get to the bottom of the matter and get justice for their relative. Away from the Central Region, let's now shift our attention to Parliament, as the Speaker of Parliament, Agban Babin, has appealed to Ghanaians to put on display the proverbial hospitality the country is noted for in the upcoming week to receive dignitaries of the Commonwealth Parliamentary Association. The country is expected to receive over 6,000 people from the 66th conference of the association from September 30 to October 6. Addressing the media in Parliament, Speaker of Ghana's Parliament, who doubles as President of the Association, asked the country to use the opportunity to market its tourism potentials. Minority and majority leaders Oseche Mensah Bonsu and Dr. Kesel Atufosin took turns to underscore the importance of the conference to be held here in Accra. Still in Parliament, the minority in the House has accused the government of condemning renal patients to death. According to the NDC MPs, the decision by government to slap taxes on essential medical supplies, including reagents, has driven the cost of treatments such as dialysis through the roof. Ghana's premier referral hospital, Kolebu, on Tuesday was forced to make a U-turn on the decision to increase the cost of dialysis by 100% following public backlash. Speaking to GHToday TV, a member of the Health Committee of Parliament and a medical practitioner, Dr. Sebastian Sadari, accused governments of failing to invest in getting enough dialysis centers across the country.
Check the statistics of the number of people with kidney problems, and for that matter, people on dialysis. from the youth to the elderly, all range of individuals are affected. So, and it is government's duty, primary duty, to keep your citizens healthy. So it is government that should intervene, get more dialysis machine to all the regions in this country, remove taxes from some of the regions and the items that they need to run this dialysis unit. Let's take the taxes and even subsidize, because it is because of its expensive nature. That's why it's not in the health insurance package.
Now, indigents of La have expressed disappointment at the La Traditional Council over their sudden decision to engage in a dialogue with stakeholders of land disputes. This comes after a press briefing to resolve a long-standing feud between La and the La Traditional Council and the military over land situated at Plecho East Airport was called off. My colleague Najali Ajay has more in this report.
Events took a surprising turn for the indigents of La, a suburb of the Greater Accra region, as the La Traditional Council rescinded their decision to make bare documents and other necessary materials as proof of land ownership. According to the organizers of the presser, La Traditional Council, the initial decision to disclose the land ownership material has been rescinded as stakeholders have called for an indoor dialogue. Spokesperson for the council, GHToday, while addressing the gathering, says it has become necessary to have an emergency dialogue with stakeholders before any step is taken.
First stance that the land in question, or the subject matter of the issue, is lands that has been granted to the last two and duly belongs to the last two. All necessary documents concerning that land have been executed. So we will give dialogue a chance, as we said. After our meeting with the stakeholders, we will come out with the facts.
However, the sudden turn of events created an uproar from the public as they accused the leaders of lacking transparency.
What they Katamanso, what they AP watch a fighter, Yeshikodiano, Shikawata, Eshikodiano, what Blaya being Woya, Ajeshiko, Ebogono, Ake, any buying the one plot, Nya to Anishine again. Shikawata, Unkawale, Ayo, Ekume, Yokamoya, Shikodiano, Shikashiko, Joe, again, Amekometo, Amebu, the Kamesha of Blaya, Oche, or Luna, you won't drag a better. Blaya be what I want, but won't try a kata. It won't work. I make Drata, me, Woya, Nuba, Nuba, Kenny, Watomona, Leko, when I basha be good. Uba, Amejipuna, Mammy, Obama, Mammy, Wokame Batu. Ejake amen gbewo won amen gbewo won ba chon gbekuru won wo ke gbe ami
o ma janche me be bia ni wo ye ame wo ye because kate aba ke bu meke amete school kejo papa fe no ko fun se ni gbolo ye no wo susu wa ko ba ya no ba yue neke o kan o la ka wo si monitor se ni lo ne ba ka ke o la ko yi ni mo de che ba na no ni ofio because watching your government then no government there will compensate more. No government if you mainly see documents here history.
The land dispute between the Traditional Council is yet to see a resolution.
Now, the opposition NDC says it will continue its boycott of the Inter-Party Advisory Committee unit until the Electoral Commission is ready to engage them properly. The party is also advocating for legislation to make the committee a legal entity recognized by the Electoral Commission in order that decisions taken at their meetings are taken seriously by the elections management body. There's more in this report by Musa Lansa, who attended a forum to assess election-related activities in 2023 and their impact on the 2024 elections.
The forum, which was funded by Star Ghana, attracted various civil society organizations and political party representatives who deliberated on some election-related activities that have taken place so far in 2023. Some of the issues that came up included calls by some civil society organizations to have some members of the Electoral Commission with alleged political coloration resign in order to maintain the integrity of the elections management body.
The points were made about, almost in a dismissive way, that it doesn't matter who is sitting at the commission because it will not affect the results or it will not affect the counting and so on and so forth. But the public perception of a tainted electoral commission is a recipe for disaster. And when I talk about some of the experiences we have had in the sub-region, you would begin to appreciate that the perception of independence and neutrality is key.
Other discussions centered on how prepared the country is for the district level elections scheduled for December 2023, as well as how to make the 2024 general elections transparent and incident-free. One conversation that brought some excitement to the room was a call for the opposition NDC to return to the Inter-Party Advisory Committee of the Electoral Commission. Responding to this call, Director of Inter-Party and CSO Relations, Dr. Peter Buamo Otukono, said the IPAC died before the NDC opted out.
IPAC broke down before we left IPAC, and we actually left IPAC because it was broken down and it was non-functional.
Okay. So NDC is not coming back anytime soon.
And Peace Council, UNDP, I think USAID or something, engaged all of us. They invited the Electoral Commission. If today they are going to appear to that engagement, we don't know. The Electoral Commission has taken a posture of non-engagement. And all the CSOs and all of us here have observed that the Electoral Commission is not ready to engage.
On his part, a former member of parliament for Tamale Central, Alhaji Inusa Fuseni, accused the Electoral Commission of not willing to engage with political parties. This, he said, is the reason for the problems confronting the commission.
Now, when you have an electoral commission, that thinks that, for me, I am the electoral commission established by law and the constitution. So, whatever informal arrangement that existed before is not relevant and needed in the performance of my mandate. That becomes a problem.
The former legislator suggested the passage of a legislation to make IPAC a legal entity, which he says will force the Electoral Commission to take them serious.
The only reason why Electoral Commission is treating us or treating political parties with contempt is because IPAC is not backed by law. It's an informal arrangement. So one way to get IPAC to begin to look at Electoral Commission to begin to look at IPAC seriously is to support it with legislation.
By reacting to the demands of the opposition NDC, Deputy General Secretary of the governing MPP, Haruna Mohammed, said the suggestions of the opposition will only be taken if they return to IPAC.
The MPP is a political party that believes in the rule of law. If this is what they want, and they want IPAC to be legalized, and their legal committee is recommending so, they should first of all join IPAC first, because if IPAC is made legal now, they are not part of it.
In a related development, the Electoral Commission says some minors and ineligible persons are taking advantage of the guarantor system to register in the ongoing limited voter registration exercise. According to the Deputy Chairperson of the Commission in charge of corporate affairs, Dr. Bosman Asari, some unqualified and ineligible persons are being aided by some members of the political parties to register. Obed Keane was at the Electoral Commission's headquarters and reports.
We have noticed that the minors and foreigners have taken advantage of the guarantor system with the support of some members of political parties. As our key stakeholders, we expect the political parties to support us to ensure the voters register is credible, because if there are people who will benefit from a credible voters register, we strongly believe the political parties will be one of the main beneficiaries. We are stressing on this because we continue to hear of reports from our officers on the ground and see pictures, videos from the districts of minors and other unqualified persons taking part in the registration exercise. We believe this must stop, and the parties, the media, CSOs, all of us must support the Electoral Commission to ensure the lane and the passage of our new proposed CI.
On the issue of the use of the Ghana card and the guarantor system to register, the Electoral Commission says over 60% of persons who have registered so far use the guarantor system, a situation they want Parliament to change it by accepting the CI that allows the Ghana card to be used as the sole document for registration.
As a commission, we are focused on ensuring and maintaining the credibility of the voters register. This is the reason behind the proposed new CI or constitutional instrument, which will require the use of the Ghana card as the sole means of identification for new applicants to register as voters. Indeed, the Ghana card shows the age and citizenship of the bearer of the card, making it easier to identify those who are minors and those who are foreigners. The Electoral Commission believes that the guarantor system has outlived its usefulness, and we are convinced that the time is right for a system that every registrant is identified on his or her own merit, rather than another person vouching for the age and nationality of that person.
The Electoral Commission says at the end of day 16 of the registration exercise, a total of 673,276 persons have been registered so far.
Now to the registration figures from day 1 to day 16. Both the Ashanti and Greater Accra regions continue to lead the way nominally. And this is expected because these are the two most populous regions in our country. Now these are the figures for each region so far. Western, 42,269, representing 6.3%. Western North, 22,386, representing 3.3%. Central, 63,228, representing 9.4%. Greater Accra, 90,099, representing 30.4%. Volta, 43,099, representing 6.4%. Oti, 18,468, representing 2.7%. Eastern, 69,597, representing 10.3%. Ashanti, 111,593, representing 16.6%. Bono, 23,365, representing 3.5%. Upper East, 33,778, representing 5%. Upper West, 23,350, representing 3.5%. So all this total 673,276.
Still on the registration exercise, the governing NPP has expressed concern about the challenges the Electoral Commission is facing with the ongoing limited registration exercise in the troubled Upper East town of Boko. The insecurity in the area following the frequent shootings and killings by unknown persons is making it difficult for the party to deploy observers to the area. Evans Nimakon is Director of Elections and Research for the NPP.
We will call on our brothers and sisters to lay down the agitations. But you see, life is at stake. You cannot endanger the lives of people. The New Patriotic Party is not ready to commit our party people to go into the environment to monitor registration exercise. So we only have to ensure that there's peace. Why is it that in the other remaining registration centers, the exercise is ongoing? There's a burden on us as a political party. We need to facilitate our people to make sure they get their name onto the electoral roll. So development in Boko is very unfortunate. We will call on our brothers and sisters to give life the optimum attention and protect people's life.
In business, the minority in Parliament has kicked against moves by the Bank of Ghana to hand over the National Investment Bank to the Agricultural Development Bank. Members of the National Democratic Congress (NDC) within Parliament argue that the move raises conflicts of interest concerns, particularly since the Bank of Ghana holds over 60% stake in ADP. Ranking member for Finance Committee in Parliament, Isaac Adongo, accused the NPP administration of attempting to secretly sell NIB to favored individuals. He presented alternative strategies to revitalize the struggling NIB without resorting to a sale.
It's clear from the work that we are seeing and the actions of government that they are not intending to take a regulatory action. They are not intending to place NIB under Act 930, but they are trying to find a backdoor approach without regard to the law that set up NIB. And the law that set up NIB anticipated government should just restructure the balance sheet of NIB to swap all the NIB debts that it owes to government and give government equity. Government says it doesn't have money to capitalize the bank, but it has given 500 million debt bond to NIB. It has given 800 million debt to NIB. The two give you how much? 1.3 billion. Is that not it? It is your money. You own the bank. The money is already sitting there. Commit to saying that is my contribution towards recapitalization, so that we issue shares for you and move the money to equity.
Minority Leader in Parliament, Dr. Cassiel Atoforsen, firmly stated the minority's intent is to resist any endeavor to sell off the bank.
There's the need for us to improve on the governance of the NIB. And so we will also come out with a private members bill to strengthen the governance of the NIB after you have done all of this. That after this, we are going to officially write to the members of the economic mismanagement team, pointing out their incompetence and professing solutions. We'll write to the central bank, the Bank of Ghana, for Addison the printer to be aware that the solution is with Honorable Adongo and his team. We'll write to Ken Oforiatta and IMF